Yo, 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 everyone. Welcome to a new and improved recording of Analog Bros. No, wait! United We Nerd. We have adapted and evolved. Yes, yes, yes. It is the future.
It's a fresh coat. I mean, especially look at Marcel. He's in the future.
I know, right? He's literally Blade Runner right now. His favorite.
Nobody wants to look at my mattress with all my clean bed sheets and stuff.
All right. Welcome, everyone. It is I, Joel, joined by Brian and Marcelo, my beautiful co-hosts. Say hi.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Twitch.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
This is the first time we're getting to see face to face. Well, not the three of us, but us as a community. Hello.
That's wild. I didn't think we would even get this far. I thought we'd still be, only audio style.
Joel, when we did our first year in review podcast, we said that this year we're going to be kicking it up a notch, and look at us now. What? Only 4 months into the year of year 2 of United We Nerd, and look at us. We're on YouTube, Twitch, and we have a Facebook page now.
Hell yeah.
Producing all those ad dollars are going to come rolling in, folks. They're going to come rolling in.
That's not for another like 10 years. That's that's
yeah.
Long-term goals, Marcelo. Long-term goals.
When we survive Biden 3.0. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about something that we've kind of been wondering whatever happened, and then it finally did. We've heard rumors for years that there would be a spinoff for the beloved Obi-Wan Kenobi. A lot of people, love Ewan McGregor's performance of, Obi-Wan in the prequels. Prequels got a lot of hate. A lot of people rode that train. And I think people, like, in retrospect, like, oh, it's better than we thought. And this show, just before we go further, is a good, like I said before on Twitter, a love letter to the prequels. And it's a good, bridge between the original and the prequels. And it's just I just really enjoyed the show. We'll go further in depth. But yeah, did you guys 5 years ago think we would get a Kenobi show?
I think
go first.
Well, really what I thought, I thought it was all going to be rumors. Like, no, nobody's going to put the effort into it. Like those fan-made posters and stuff like that we saw online.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. But it happened, and I of course have mixed feelings about it because it wasn't great, but it definitely had some great moments personally,
Oh yeah, like shoot. Like we've heard rumors for a long time about there being an Obi-Wan movie. It's like, oh, we're gonna get an Obi-Wan movie, we're gonna get a Boba Fett movie, we're gonna get a Jabba the Hutt movie.
I remember that one.
Yet to be determined, by the way. We don't know. We're still on Jabba watch at this point. But Jabba yeah, watch. It's very interesting that now we're in the world of live streaming, or not live stream, but just like streaming shows instead of having traditional television or like movies. So we're getting a lot of things that might have been passed by as far as like movie productions go, where even for like TV show standards, this is still higher quality than a lot of TV shows. So did I expect this to happen? I had hopes, but I couldn't have expected getting what we got.
Yeah, I mean, Obi-Wan is an 8-hour movie, and you can definitely see the high notes for it, and you can definitely see the part where it really lulls, like, because it's just very like linear, like your beginning, middle, conflict, climax, end. Like, it's very clear that like they filmed an 8-hour movie and then just cut it all up into 8 weeks. Or 7 weeks. I think the first 2 episodes were up day 1.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, the rumors, I never thought we would see it. And then to have Ewan McGregor come back on, to have Hayden Christensen come back on, that was just so great. But
Mhm.
let's go into the review. All right. In case you didn't know, we're going to spoil the shit out of Kenobi. So if you, for some reason, are listening to us and haven't seen it, be prepared. We're going to talk about it a great deal. So
We should
heading into
hey,
that territory.
we should put a little spoiler like tag at the bottom, Brian, of the screen so that people know we're mid spoilers for this bad boy.
Well, you know what?
Or maybe
I could do that right now.
Doing it live.
we
Doing
need
it
we need like a
live.
little spoiler square too, like
Yeah, yeah.
heavy spoiler. Maybe make that on Canva. Yeah. Okay. So
Well, really
ooh,
quick, where does this sit for you as far as Star Wars content goes? Like let's say excluding like the three trilogies, where does it sit? Like including like Solo and Rogue One.
so you're counting it as as the new Disney creations? Is that what you're saying?
Well, like, do you like this more than Boba Fett? Do you like this more than Mandalorian? Did you like it more than like Rogue One, the movie? Like, how do you feel? Like, what are your overall like thoughts about the show?
All right, I'll go first. We'll go to Brian, then we'll go to Marcelo. As far as how I feel about Kenobi, I thought it was, personally, pretty standoutish. I think it just builds upon the great parts of the prequels, and then it takes some of the camp of the original trilogy as well and blends it pretty well together. Comparing to Mandalorian, I'm pretty biased. I think Mandalorians are the coolest things embedded in Star Wars, pretty much. And I'm gonna put Mando above Kenobi just because that's who I am. But it's still very strong. It does what Mandalorian and Boba Fett do really well. Explores new territory with characters we know we haven't seen. So it's still really good there. Um, I think Book of Boba Fett. I'm also partial to that, but I think this one had better storytelling than Book of Boba Fett. But Book of Boba Fett was just pure fun. I think it knew what it was. We're gonna come in, have fun, do some goofy shit, and be out. And Kenobi's like, we're gonna come in, have fun, and pull your heart a little. I do not think it's better than Solo. Actually, I'm partial to Solo as well. I think Solo was done really well as far as the character. Like I think it's done really well, even though they had a replacement, and there's a whole issue of that. I don't think it's better than Rogue One, that's for sure. That's like a whole nother level of greatness, but I still think it's really strong. I at the same time, even though we're comparing, I feel like it's still very different from everything we're trying to compare it to.
Yeah, as far as what we've gotten as in this era of Disney Plus, it admittedly this is part of like nostalgia, like prequel nostalgia at least, but as far as kind of like taking what we already knew about the Star Wars universe, because for the most part we've got Mandalorian, which has mostly been brand new. It's a time period that we didn't know about. It's a whole bunch of characters that we didn't know about. Yeah, we got like spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it, we've gotten Ahsoka, we've gotten Luke, and we've gotten mentionings of Ezra and Thrawn kind of mixed in there, but that's that. And then Boba Fett was kind of a thing where it's like they took a very popular character that didn't see a lot of screen time and decided to kind of push the character into a new direction, right? Yeah. You gotta ride the bantha like a bantha.
Like a band.
But Obi-Wan Kenobi, let alone just the character itself, not just like, Ewan McGregor or Al Guinness. You have Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of probably the most popular characters in all of Star Wars. And then you have Darth Vader, probably one of the most popular Star Wars characters, if not villains, in all of cinema. And then to have Ewan McGregor come back, to have Hayden Christensen come back. And by the way, I just want to say this. I applaud a lot of the Star Wars fans that have basically welcomed back Hayden with open arms. to kind of like wash away that kind of icky fucking like toxic mess that was the prequel era of Star Wars. Um, but to be able to have those characters come back, and of course we've also had other minor characters come back as well into the mix, and some characters from the animated series come back into this. So there's a lot of well-known characters kind of all coming into this one series, but they were, I personally think that they were able to hone in on what story they wanted to tell, and then use a mixture of old and new to kind of propel to where we got with episode 6. You know, and we can go more in on that as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
As far as this show for me goes, I think this sits definitely above the Book of Boba Fett, because I did not enjoy, and if you go back and listen to other podcasts that we did, like I tell you guys, like I did not really enjoy the Book of Boba Fett. This is definitely a little bit more entertaining than that, but uh definitely not better than Mando, not better than Rogue One, in my opinion, and I even think Solo edges it out a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
But this show
Really?
was very entertaining in the sense that you really get to see like Obi-Wan the character develop even more after the events of Revenge of the Sith, right? Like you really see his arc, and you see where we pick up right before episode 4. So definitely it's good character building. But again, just it's probably just little things, and you know me, like I watch it the first time, I don't like it, and then I watch it again, I'm like, well, it wasn't too bad. I've done it with everything that we've talked about so far. Um, I still like Morbius better, though. I'll
Oh
definitely
god damn
I'll
it.
end with
Not
that.
this again. Not this again.
How much
With
money is Sony paying you, man? Like, what are they slipping you?
I will not have Morbius talk on on Star Wars night.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right. Anyway, well, let's dive in. Let's talk about it. There is so much. It's so rich. I mean, that's the thing about the Star Wars universe. It's so rich. You could go anywhere with it. So much lore, so many Easter eggs. It's just there's literally like it's endless. And I've said this before. Like I always say like I'm getting sick of the Skywalker saga. I'm done with Skywalkers, but we still come back, and they just show us that there's still more stories to be told and done well. And with Obi-Wan, we do that. All right, so episode 1, or I guess it's called part 1, right? So this takes place 10 years after Order 66, and actually, before we even go further, I just want to say kudos to whoever thought to do like, hey, there's some kind of triggering events related to what goes on a lot for the country we live in. Just like, hey, there's a warning, there's some there's going to be children kind of dying and stuff that might be triggering and make it very upsetting. Just be warned, because it just dives right in to Order 66, right? It's just right away we see clones shooting down Jedi, and you see these younglings kind of trying to get away, and it's just like boom right off the bat. And I think, was it Book of Boba Fett, we had Order 66 as well. So they're still touching upon something that's happened, and which is the good callback, and it's just showing that what the events are still unfolding. We're still feeling what's happening with the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting to see, like, especially just them warning us. I will say though, I don't remember seeing a warning for episode 3. I just want to make that clear. Um, yeah, I was not like this show ramps up
It really does.
in ways I didn't think Star Wars could ramp up.
Yeah, it gets heavy, and it gets heavy fast. Yeah, to be honest, with the trailers, I wasn't expecting to go right into there. I thought we were gonna get, to be honest, like 5 episodes of Kenobi kind of dealing with his guilt, and then like a big payoff. It's like, nope, we're going here. This is where we're going. That's what we start with. Um,
It's like they knew that we were going to have a show before this that involved Tatooine heavily.
How many more movies are going to be on Tatooine?
Probably all of them.
Until the
Oh,
end of
no.
time.
I want a strictly pod racing league movie.
Oh, yes, please. I would be so down.
Dude. Start your races. Okay. We get introduced to well, at least live action wise, the Inquisitors, who basically are Jedi hunters in the story. We get we see them in Rebels, and they're very powerful beings who essentially work under Vader, and they're just basically trying to wipe out all the Jedi because they ride the propaganda. They're like, oh, the Jedi failed you. They tricked you. We're just we're doing good for the galaxy, taking care of them. And so again, we back on Tatooine. We're following the Inquisitors. They're looking for a Jedi that they're hunting, and they're in this kind of like bar cantina area. And they're going back to like the Jedi code. The Jedi always have to help people, and that's how we're going to lure them out. And so they basically kind of put someone in danger, and what do I say, force sensitive, or a Jedi appears to save someone and gets away. It's just like their logic, their way of life is weakness, and we see there already that the Inquisitors, they don't get along, and it's just the nature of the Sith. There can only be two, right? But they're already vying for power. They're stepping each other's toes. They're not going to get along. But they just set up that like this is not a good relationship they're going to have already, which is going to lead to further rocky territory later.
Does Rebels take place kind of in the same time period? Like, I'm assuming it kind of does, right? I'm not familiar with
No.
that show.
No, so Rebels itself takes place, I want to say, maybe another 5-ish years after this.
After this. Okay.
Because Rebels kind of starts creeping into Rogue One territory.
Yeah.
And that's like right before episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel the portrayal of like the Grand Inquisitor? Because everybody had an opinion about that when even when the trailer dropped and they showed the Grand Inquisitor. Did you guys mind? How did you guys feel about it? I mean, I have no frame of reference, so it didn't matter to me. But it was just funny seeing people react online because you can't ever please everybody, right?
What do you think, Brian? You go first.
I honestly think that I can understand why some people would be kind of annoyed because, like, they love the character so much, But for me, I understand that when it comes to bringing characters into live action, there are going to be some liberties that have to be taken. Like, I personally think what they did with what was it, Rupert Friend? Is that the actor for the Grand Inquisitor?
I think so.
But I think he looked fine. He still looked menacing. Like, yeah, he didn't look like, it's like he wasn't gonna look like the animated series version. And the only other race of his that we've seen in live action was in episode 3 and on Utapau, when Obi-Wan arrives and he has they're called Powans. And when he met the Powan that was there, he was very like tall and had very sharp teeth, but all that makeup isn't going to be suited for what the Grand Inquisitor is. So there's going to be some liberties taken, but I personally didn't mind it. It is kind of ridiculous how some people think that they can do better. And it's like, yeah, you can make it look more like the anime series, but it doesn't mean it's going to be better for the show. Like, shit, people were talking shit about Cad Bane and Boba Fett, but he looks fucking fantastic. I thought he looked fucking fantastic.
Spot on.
Oh, because the face shape was off or something like that.
It was just like barely, because
It was the
again,
wrong hue of blue.
he's an old man at that point. He's gonna be pale. But it's just like fitting prosthetics onto an actual human body is always going to look kind of different and weird than an animated show. It's going to happen. Now, I think he did a great job playing the role
Yeah,
as the
absolutely.
Grand Inquisitor. But yeah, I don't see why wasting so much energy on minor details like that. I don't understand. How about you, Joel? What were your opinions on the Grand Inquisitor?
Cool. They brought him to live action. I have no complaints. Like that was literally like I'm not okay. His
Nice.
head's not a foot bigger or whatever. Okay, I'm not.
One be like,
Yeah, I know. Like it's not Kiadi-Mundi. Oh no, no. I was like, okay, good. He's cool. I mean, he's here. Dope. What is he gonna do? How is he gonna connect? Are they gonna connect him to Rebels? Are they gonna do some weird time jumpy shit? I don't know. Let's find out. Like, that was the least of my worries. And then people, like you said, people did their edits and stuff. I'm like, that's cool. I mean, nice, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't bother me. It didn't faze me. I didn't care.
And I have to give him credit. The fifth brother looked amazing. Like the fifth brother looked like the fifth brother from the show. Like the casting choice and just the overall like makeup department did a fucking fantastic job putting that together. It was. I was actually kind of sad he didn't get a lot of screen time. I kind of wanted to see more fifth brother just because he looks so cool.
that was Han, right?
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would have never been able to tell, man.
He drifted all the way into outer space
Yep.
and became a dark side user.
It was great. No, I mean, I think that what they did with the Inquisitors was awesome. Reva. She was awesome. I feel like she definitely carried the emotion of the show a lot of the time, even more so than Ewan McGregor. Like, I think she just had a little bit more of that presence. Like, she was just so like strong. Like, she came off so like so strong, and I really enjoyed her character and what she did with it. Like, again, going back, people complained so much about her character online, how it was too much, but it's like, well, yeah, because her character is driven by like rage and anger. Of course, it's going to be like a lot. Like she's got a lot of emotions she's dealing with. Like, of course, it's going to come out one way.
It's okay when Kylo Ren does it, but not Reva. I wonder where that is. Anyway, yeah, but Reva and the Inquisitors, they're looking for the big daddy of the Jedi themselves, namesake of the show, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they've been looking for him. Can't find him. Where is he? Fucking cutting meat like a crate dragon or some shit. And they're like salting it a little. It was strange, but we did see, he's living a peaceful life, or reflecting up. Oh shit, that reminds me. I gotta say, sorry, backtrack. The what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just gonna simplify it. The little like previously setting up before episode 1, I was like, wow, the all the cutscenes from throughout the movies was a nice setup for episode 1 too.
Yeah, the little recap.
Thank you. The recap. That was, for me, it was emotional. It's like, wow, and it was a high quality recap too. I was like, oh damn, they're
When
going.
you think that it's been like over 20 years since those came out.
It was.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that compilation trailer they made when they were announcing episode 7.
I don't remember that.
When they went throughout like the prequel and the original trilogy era, and they kind of had like Alec Guinness Obi-Wan kind of like telling his story from like when he was talking to Luke. And then like right then they led into like episode 7 trailer. It's like, oh fuck, I feel it. And then ending it with the fucking Han and Chewie thing. It's like, oh fuck, Star Wars is back.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it kind of made you realize that like the prequels weren't perfect, but they were still a major part of at least like our childhood, youth coming up. And I felt a lot of like I need to go back like and start and watch them again. And pretty soon, like I'll be able to let the kids watch them eventually.
Mm-hmm. Gotta share with the youth.
Like yeah, I tried to. So really, just quick tangent here. I tried to let the kids watch episode 4 the other day, and we got to the deep fried aunt and uncle,
Aw.
and I was
Can-
like, oh, not ready for this one. That's too much explanation.
Yeah, that's a little hard to explain.
Mm-hmm. Uncle Owen.
Uncle Owen.
Yeah, that recap just kind of sets up the nostalgia and our connections already to this character. And from we follow Obi-Wan and we find that he's watching a young Luke Skywalker who we all love and know, little whiny ass Luke, and he's kind of been watching over him, been doing a good job. He's dealing with a lot. It says here it's haunted by his past, but I just love how much they dive into the guilt and grief he feels. Like he carries it in everything he's doing, and he's and that's why he hasn't been active. He's not trying to rebuild the order. He's like, I want to be hidden. I want to be, I don't care. My life is different now, and because he essentially killed his brother and he has to live with it. He doesn't know that essentially Anakin is alive yet. And it's just he you could tell he's like replaying everything in his head over and over again, that moment on Mustafar, and he's still carrying it, which is awesome to see.
Do we see Darth Vader in the do we see them get into a fight in the first episode, or is that the second episode?
No, that's the third episode.
Third episode.
Yeah.
Where he
we see him at like the very end of episode 2.
Oh, that's right. But he's in like the tank or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a hint.
Are we doing like a full episode breakdown by episode, or are we just kind of grand scoping it?
I was hoping to do episode by episode, but we could just pick the best parts if you want. I'm just going through it.
I don't know. We're doing it live. I don't know.
Whatever works for you guys.
I feel like
I'm just trying to remember everything because it's
Mhm.
so rich. But
because I can remember the things that I like and I don't like. I can't remember like all the little things. But yeah, no, I'm happy to do whatever.
I think we could do both. We can go through the episode. We can kind of, when the things pop into our heads, we can kind of go off on a tangent.
So I won't mention my favorite part of episode 3 just yet. Then
save it. We're getting there.
okay.
Yeah. With Obi-Wan's guilt, that Jedi earlier, he's like, "Hey, you're the legend, it's Obi-Wan. Come on." But he's like, "No, just hide, keep yourself alive. That's the best you could do." And Obi-Wan's indifference kind of will reaffirm kind of the point of the Inquisitors later. Like the Jedi kind of they lead themselves to their own doom. We're gonna there's a connection there later, but he's like, just get out of here. I don't want to deal with you. That was the old me. This isn't my life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And later we see that his body is hanging in the middle of town. Like they made an example, like this is what's gonna happen to the Jedi. I was like, oh damn, they fucked him up. But yeah, it's they're hunting Jedi, and it's terrible, and then I think that guilts him even more. He starts to realize he can make a difference, and he will end up doing maybe more than he realizes.
I wanted to like mention, because we got to see kind of at the beginning of the episode where like the Inquisitors are at, and it's very interesting, especially since Reva is a new character to the world, and so it was interesting to see that during this point in time, out of all the Inquisitors, there is such a thing as going too far for an Inquisitor. Like at least during this time where like they still have to worry about like the Senate and whatnot and the Empire, and so they still have to kind of like keep up appearances. But then you have Reva kind of like pretty much almost like killing a person, and then like the Grand Inquisitor and like the Fifth Brother and stuff is like, you've gone too far. It's like,
Lord
oh,
Vader will hear about this.
it's just very interesting, like to think about like the Inquisitors as these like ruthless like Jedi hunters having morals.
I don't know if it's morals, but I think it's more like rules are rules. Like we have our orders,
Yeah,
and the
Yeah.
last thing you want to do is piss off. Like
Big Daddy.
you don't want to piss off Big Daddy.
All right. And then what's cool is, I think what this show did great is we actually segue to someone else's story we need more history on. So the story shifts to Alderaan, which I kept forgetting the fate of Alderaan, by the way. It's every episode, but my wife reminded me. I used to make jokes about it. Anyway, and we get to see little Leia and what she's at, that she's very smart. Of course she is, right? She's the daughter of Vader and Padme. It's just, she's got things together. And of course we see Jimmy Smits again. That was really nice to see him, there. And it's just, she's articulate, she's smart. She kind of doesn't want to do senator thing, play politics and all that, but they're like kind of hinting that you can make a change with the right people. And then she of course goes on a little adventure, and I know this was a point for you, Marcelo, but they're these like bounty hunters that chase the little girl, or sorry, the little princess, and they catch her, but it's a little goofy. I mean, you could tell this part was like for kids. Like she's sliding down the dirt.
It wasn't even for kids, dude. This shit was bad.
Bounty hunters are like failing to grab her when she's 3 feet away. She's running super slow, and they're like, "Oh,
How's a branch gonna stop you? Come on now." That was the. Yeah, that was one of those like points of contention for me. The little too campy, but it is what it is.
straight from the prequels, maybe." But yeah, and then we find like eventually they after what seems like 5 minutes of failures, they eventually get captured by a Red Hot Chili Pepper, or she gets captured by a Red Hot Chili Pepper, and then of course Bail Organa, Jimmy Smits, is like, "Hey, Leia's in trouble," and he contacts someone stuck on Tatooine who has been wanting to help, and he's like, okay, fine, and that was my thing too. It's like, are we gonna see him on Tatooine for 6 episodes? Like, what's gonna happen here? But we find out like he's gonna go save Princess Leia, of course, right? True to this the whole Star Wars, it's
Yeah.
it,
Man, what a twist. What I would say a twist. It's like, well, out of all the things I didn't expect to see coming was not having this show be about Obi-Wan protecting Luke. It's more so about Obi-Wan protecting Leia. And I think that probably did a better job than having it just be all around Luke, because we see Obi-Wan and Luke together throughout episode 4, so we kind of know. And after 6 episodes of just Obi-Wan kind of like spying on Luke from a distance is going to be kind of weird after a while. So I think it was the right move to kind of go on the Leia route. Also, a shout out to probably one of the most recent Star Wars memes to come about from the show, but sassy Uncle Owen
yeah.
with a line.
He was really sassy in this show, wasn't he? He was kind of a dick.
he was a dick where it mattered though, because he has a point.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when Obi-Wan's like, oh, when he gets old enough, he must be trained. He's like how he trained his father. It's like, oh god,
Oh
he's fucking right. It's like
Yeah.
he has a right to be fucking like, sassy towards Obi-Wan, because it's like, yeah, because of you, my stepbrother's fucking dead, or dead. And
I
it's like,
mean,
I'm not gonna
if
make.
you, oh, go ahead. I was
No,
gonna say,
go
if you
ahead.
think about it, Obi-Wan trained a real winner, wrong side, but still a winner. He's still like one of the strongest Sith Lords to like ever come. You gotta give some props there. He It's not the greatest thing in the world. You know, he killed a lot of children for that honor, but I mean, he's there, and they really show it in this show. Like they show his his. That's what was great about this show was the how terrifying Darth Vader is as a
Oh
character.
yeah, they went there. Yeah, and if you haven't seen those Owen memes, go see them. I fucking love them. I love all the sassy memes they come. Yeah, that I was, I was episode 1, and it was a really strong pilot and origin episode for the start, and I was like, wow, I'm ready for more. And I think what was it? What did you guys say? The first 2 were out, or was it the first 3?
They released the first 2 because of Star Wars Celebration.
That's what it was.
They pushed it back a week because they wanted to release on Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah. Well, that was awesome because we didn't have to wait another week, so we got episode 2 right away, or part 2. So this episode basically Obi-Wan goes off world. And what's great is they tease in the trailer, they tease Kumail Nanjiani, newest Marvel, one of the new Marvel superheroes. And it was cool to see him there too. It's just for a second too. I was like, oh, what's his role gonna be? And then boom, he's already there in episode 2. He plays like a Jedi, he has like little magnet tricks and electronics. He looks like he's trying to help people. Obi-Wan kind of finds him and interrogates him. And he's a fucking fraud, which I love, by the way. It was great. He's like, I don't know anything. It's great. It's like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And it was just refreshing to see. Obi-Wan's gonna run into his fair share of seedy people, but like he runs into a scoundrel essentially. But eventually, we'll turn him around. Like he just, makes him into a good person later, and just based on interactions, and because he's the general. He he has that effect on people, and he's a good leader. And little cool Easter egg too in the episode was you actually see a 501st trooper kind of on the streets begging for credits, which I didn't expect to see at all, actually, but I thought that was pretty interesting. And he's all bearded out and shit too. Like, damn, they forgot about his ass. Replaced by Stormies already.
And of course, it was played by none other than Tamora Morrison.
Yep.
Who else?
Right?
Who else but him?
Right. Marcelo, you're going to mention something. I saw it in your eyes.
It's awesome to see Kumal getting so much work in the Marvel Disneyverse. He's getting a ton of just small little parts here. I feel like I saw a trailer for him in something the other day that I was like, oh man, here too, huh? Like he's just everywhere right now.
Making that money. Make that money, man.
Yeah, good for him. He's a good actor, so it works out fine.
And he has banger roles too. Like he's doing great work.
Yeah, eventually Kenobi gets to the planet. He asks around where to go. He's gonna eventually find Leia, right? Entrapped somewhere thanks to a couple leads, and I think thanks to Kumail's character, Aja, right? Is that right?
Aja.
Yes, right. But he defeats them pretty easily. But yeah, and that's kicks Flea's ass, and they start to escape. And then they start to show how smart Leia is. She's asking all the right questions. She's been smart from the get-go, not some dumbass farmer boy who's been fucking playing on a roof.
Whoa, chill out, dude.
I'm coming.
Wow.
I'm coming for Luke. I don't care.
Wow.
He's 10 years old, dude. Chill out.
Yeah.
He just wants to fly a skyhopper. Come on, man.
Well, you also have to listen. Hold on.
One got a life of luxury, and one got to live in a fucking desert.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Think about the environment that Luke is in. What the fuck are they doing on a desert planet? Moisture farming. What is Leia doing? She's a fucking daughter of a senator. Come on, man. You cannot.
Senator.
I'm sorry, galactic senator. You can't compare those two. Give Luke a break, man. You know what he's doing? He's doing his best.
Oh yeah. And then they start to get into, Leia's very curious about the city. She's, it seems like she's sheltered. She's curious about everything. And, Kenobi's like, oh, we got to get going. And then, they figure it out. Eventually, they're getting chased by Inquisitors. They lock down the city, and we go through this like rooftop chase. Soon, bounty hunters. They're all alerted. Grand Inquisitor didn't want that to happen, but Reva's like, we got to get Kenobi, we got to get him now. Let everyone know. And we have this like cool like shootout scene on the roof. He's fighting back, and he's using a blaster too, which of course all of us are like, Kenobi using a blaster,
How uncivilized.
Exactly. But he's fighting back, trying to keep Leia safe. And I know some people were complaining that Reva was over the top with her parkour on the roof, but I mean, I thought it was dope. It looked cool. I mean, she's an Inquisitor, they're all about flash. So, I mean, it makes sense to me. So,
yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's going to look kind of weird just because, they're obviously not going to spend all of the budget on just that. So it's going to look a little weird, but it's fine. It's not detrimental to Star Wars at all. It's gonna be weird just because it's newer concepts being brought into Star Wars, and
How dare you enhance my Star Wars? How dare you?
Hashtag not my Star Wars.
I will say, our friend Ben brought up, it's like, yeah, we got to see some other cool ass bounty hunters too in this episode. Like a Forlamish kind of person.
We did see one. Yeah,
we got to see another Zabrak, which, oh god, I thought that when, sorry if I'm kind of putting out of place real quick, but like when Obi-Wan was in that hallway when he had to start fighting like the bounty hunters, and he punches the Zabrak in the head, and he's like, bruh, don't you have experience fighting Zabrak? Don't fucking punch him in the head with all the head
That's
spikes,
just one,
dude.
Two, and one again. Yeah. They go through the fight, and then one of the points of in the story is that, like, can you make me float? And Obi-Wan's like, no, I can't show you. But eventually, Leia's put in danger. He has to save her by using the Force, and she floats. And they start. She's like, oh, it's a little cheesy. It's campy. I see Marcelo's nodding his head. It's definitely campy. But this trust starts to build. It's like, okay, you're not who you say you are, but you saved my life. And
you
I see
are a Jedi.
Yeah. And then they start to, Obi-Wan goes back. The Haja says, what can you do to help us? And he's like, okay, I'll help you guys, right? And he doesn't betray them. I was expecting a betrayal, by the way, for this. But he tries to buy them time, stalls Reva, and he tells them where to go. And then you're going to take like this cargo train sort of vehicle to another planet or another part of the planet. I don't remember.
It was another planet. It was
another planet. Okay.
It was
like
leaving
a space
to go
rail almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like an Imperial kind of like supply like freighter, like going to like an outpost somewhere.
Yeah. Before we even get there, he has Leia secured away. Reva's still been chasing them, and then Obi-Wan's thinking about using his lightsaber. He doesn't. They're teasing us. You're not going to use it, but
yeah, we get cucked pretty hard with that lightsaber for a good chunk of the show.
We do. But Reva's like looking for him, and she says, he's not dead. And it's kind of like the bomb drops on him. He's like, who? Anakin is not dead. And he's like, what? Like, I don't think he ever fathomed that he could be alive. He probably just, you chop a guy's arms off, you chop his his legs off, you stranded him on lava. That should be the end of it. He's catching on fire. He's scarred. This motherfucker should be long gone. But not. Guess what? There's more. So this revelation, I think, shakes him. And
oh yeah,
it's it's the guilt again coming back. It's well done the way they just kind of drop it on him. He doesn't seem like the character who would entertain, like, because he saw right before, like I said before, he fucking killed him. But it's like, nope. Guess what? And of course, we talked about it before. We get the hint at the end of Mustafar, Castle Vader. They go in on the back to tank, and they zoom in. They show him, and of course, his eyes open. Lord Vader himself. He's alive and well, of course. We all know. Even before that, the Grand Inquisitor's confronting Reva, and he's like, "You can't be doing this," And she's like, "I almost had him," and then she fucking stabs him, which caught me off guard. I thought it was gonna be more back and forth, like, don't do that, you can't do that. Okay, whatever. She's like, no, straight up lightsaber through the chest.
Yeah, that threw me for a fucking loop. Like you and me being fans of Rebels, I was like, how does this work?
Right? Exactly.
It's like, I think everybody on the internet kind of had like that. It's like, wait, what's happening? You know,
Yeah.
it's like obviously we had probably like the same idea, Joel, that something was gonna happen later on that like showed that, you know, the Grand Inquisitor still has a lot of cards up his sleeve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know people were upset, like, oh, this messes with the lore. It's like, oh, now you guys care about Rebels? Like, what the fuck is this?
But it doesn't. We get there.
Yeah, I know. People just weren't ready, just weren't willing to wait. But yeah, again, a really good episode. Lots of fun. You know, it got like the chase hijinks kind of down. They do in Star Wars a lot. Some of the fun. I feel like, yeah, they got the camp there too. It was a fun episode. A good, 1 and 2 were a good pair to release together. So,
Mm-hmm.
of course, the tease at the end of, the foil to Obi-Wan. Yeah, it's like, ooh, here we go.
That
Here we
was a
go.
long week of waiting.
That was.
Oh my god.
After that. Yeah. All right. Part 3. And this did a lot, I think. And I wasn't expecting them to drop as much as they did for this episode, but it was fun. It was great. And we'll just go into it because there's a lot. Yeah. Basically, at Castle Vader tells Reva to find Kenobi, and Vader does that thing. He promises he'll do something for you if you succeed. Like all leaders and politicians, we'll do it. Just do what we told you to do.
And disappoint Daddy.
Yes, exactly. And well, he's gonna be disappointed. But anyway, basically, it'll flash forward to Kenobi and Leia landing on the planet. They're kind of exploring, and there's a moment where Kenobi looks in the distance and he sees the first iteration of Darth Vader that he knew, which was really cool. They show, Master Skywalker in his robes just kind of looking at him menacingly. And I thought that was cool. Like he's being haunted by it already, by the fact that like he's alive. He's had the guilt of killing him, but now he's like, oh shit, he survived. You can say, Brian.
I kind of feel guilty saying this, but at first viewing, I didn't realize that was Anakin. It's like I was like I was too focused like on like kind of like the wardrobe that the person was like who the fuck's this? I wasn't like paying attention to the face.
Yeah.
But fun fact, Hayden Christensen had an interview and he was saying that was one of the first shots he did, and on that day of shooting, they already did all of Ewan McGregor's scenes for that day, but he wanted to stay so he could watch Hayden do his scenes.
Nice.
He was so excited to see Hayden back that he wanted to stay there to make sure he saw him do his scenes. It was just like a nice little heartwarming like. It's like these guys have like a true bromance going on, and everybody in the world loves it right now.
Yeah, they have like what seems a genuine, cool friendship. I mean, he is the executive producer, but it feels genuine. It feels good, It's nice. Again, they them reprising the roles. It's a lot of great nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Who's an executive producer, Hayden or
Ewan McGregor?
Ewan McGregor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh damn! It was both of them. Oh shit. Anyway, yeah, basically, they can't find anyone. Eventually they get there's like an Imperial transport. Kenobi's kind of hesitant, like we shouldn't do it. And Leia, she's a people person. She could talk to people, and they get in there and they get on the transport. It seems like a harmless guy, but the transport drives away. On the back, he's an Imperial sympathizer. He has a little homemade flag,
Fucking
the Imperial symbol.
bullshit.
It's like,
Yeah, he's very pro Empire,
pro
as we all
Empire.
should be.
stormtroopers' lives matter too, right? Um, and we find that out later. It's like he picks up some stormtroopers later. He's like happy to see them and stuff, you know. And the stormtroopers get on. They're like kind of grilling Kenobi, like asking him, you know, where you been, what you up to, and he slips up. You know, he kind of recovers, and you know, Leia kind of covers him too. And you know, they're stormtroopers. They're not super big brain, but you know, enough to know that something fishy is going on. But they eventually let it go, and it was a good interaction to see that they still, you know, they're smart on their toes, both of them know how to navigate out of that situation, which was pretty good to see. They're smart. They got guile.
It was very, like, after that point where he slipped up, it was very interesting to, at least for me, to watch, because you could, when he was like making up that story, you can kind of tell that he was using a little bit of truth in his story, because in that scene you see just kind of like out of nowhere, like Leia just kind of like turns to Obi-Wan's like, "You knew my parents, didn't you?" And he's just, and of course Obi-Wan's just like, and it's like, and she's like, "Are you my father?" And he's like, no.
I never knew my mommy.
And also the fact that we've actually gotten like canon like details of Obi-Wan kind of maybe remembering his family.
Yeah, that was
That was
nice to see.
cool. That was like, it was such a small thing, but it was so cool. You know, because especially during those times where, like, you know, Jedi didn't really remember their families because they got taken as babies.
Yeah, they were
You
essentially
know.
abducted.
But it was just like one of those first moments of like an actual like kind of connection between Leia and Obi-Wan, just kind of like, you know, Obi-Wan kind of cracking a little bit, kind of giving a little bit of information about, you know, knowing whose Leia's parents were, because she knows she's adopted at this point. She knows because she's the palest fucking person in Alderaan. Um, so it's at this point you're kind of seeing Obi-Wan start to kind of change a little bit, you know, as he progresses through the series. So it was a nice little scene, and then we get to the next part, which I think you could tell us what happens next.
So they get to like a little blockade, and they kind of, you know, there's a little probe droid that appears, and it identifies that, oh shit, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, and you know, alerts the guards. They fight the stormtroopers. The sympathizer gets the shit kicked out of him. And then what happens cool too is there's like this laser gate, and then he hits a stormtrooper somehow into it or something, or falls. And it gets cut in half. I was like, oh shit. I wasn't expecting that already, but yeah, we get some gruesome shit. And he's like fighting with this blaster. And when it seems like, you know, he's captured and caught, there's of course an Imperial spy working both sides. Her name is Tala. She shoots the stormtroopers and gets them out of there, basically. And you guys remember she is the Mama Sandsnake from Game of Thrones. Yeah, so good to see some more Game of Thrones connections in Star Wars. So that was cool.
They're slowly coming together.
Yeah, right. So we find out later that she is a member of the Path that helps people with Force-sensitive kids or family members or Jedi basically get out and escape the Empire. And when they get to the HQ, she has this like loader droid. She's reprogrammed to be security and help her. What was really cool is, for me, nice little Easter egg when she's talking about the Path people have been there. There's a name there, and Kenobi touches his hand, and it says Quinlan Voss. I was like, oh shit, nice little Easter egg. Quinlan Voss is a really cool Jedi from the Clone Wars era. He even has a book called Dark Disciple. He has like a relationship with Asajj Ventress.
Really good book.
Good audiobook, and him and Kenobi have like a relationship in that. So who better to kind of connect them together, even if it was fake, like he didn't make, or if it was a trap, it was still a nice Easter egg for us. So that was pretty cool. It's like, oh shit, I was like, I've been saying Quinlan Voss is alive, and I was like, hell yeah, he made it. Or maybe he didn't, but
I mean, they threw the name out. I feel like there's hope. There's hope that we could see a live action Quinlan Vos somewhere down the road. You know,
Right.
all bets, like, I don't want to say all bets are off, but you know, they wouldn't throw out that name. They wouldn't throw out a specific name if they didn't have an idea.
Yeah, it was nice to see. And then of course, because the I think maybe the drone sent out the signal, but I'm gonna see. Basically, they figure out Kenobi is on that planet, and of course, if Kenobi's on that planet, guess who's coming to check to make sure? Big Daddy himself, Vader, arrives with the Inquisitors. You know, and it's so raw to see what Vader's intro scene is, because he arrives, he has the Inquisitors, and there are people that like try to be there, but they're there, they may be even trying to fight, but he gives no shits. There's like a kid there, he just like uses the force and breaks its neck, and I was like, whoa, like right away I was taken back by that.
Yeah, that was unexpected. Like, I wasn't expecting that much violence from
It just
from
shows
Star Wars.
there is no Anakin, right? It is Darth Vader for sure, and he is here to hunt and kill one person, and he knows he's here, and it's just crazy because he just goes off, and essentially he's doing what he's programmed to do. He's going to go kill and be merciless. But eventually, Kenobi sees him on the way, and he says, "Tala, can you please, make sure Leia gets to safety, right?" So she's going to do that, and then Kenobi's going to try to draw Vader away. Were you going to say something, Brian?
No, I just wanted to make a point. Right before Vader starts, attacking
Marking
this,
down.
yeah, like he stops walking, and you can see, like, of course, he's wearing a helmet, so you can't like see his face, but he like kind of turns and he stops, and at that moment, that he knows Obi-Wan is watching him, and so at that
Mhm.
point, it's like, okay, Obi-Wan, let me show you who I am, and he's just like, "Bruh," doing wreaking havoc, and then it's like, of course, Obi-Wan is just watching in horror of like what has become of Anakin. It's like, oh, it's such a good scene. Like, it's terrifying, but
It
story
is.
wise, it's like such good kind of like, I don't know the perfect word for it, but it's just like, you know, Vader was proving a point, and it's like, I am not the person that you saw last. I am this new big threat that is coming to get you, and
You big bad.
you cannot stop me.
They really do build up that he becomes the master of evil throughout this series, and that first step alone, that one kid breaking his neck, man, that was oof. I was like, damn, Vader is here. Like, there is no Anakin. But eventually, after that, Kenobi lures him away. They have like this slow fight with like sand and pebbles and stuff, and it's an interesting sequence because Kenobi is not really fighting. It's a one-sided fight, to be honest. He's just trying to get away, buy Leia time, and it's like he kind of fights like he's scared to fight, and he's never used his lightsaber before. He's not in tune with himself. You could clearly tell, and he's trying to trick Vader here and there, but not enough to like really get away. And eventually, it comes to like, they have their little standoff, and just fast forward, like Vader fucks him up. He has been holding this rage and revenge. He thought, maybe some fire would separate them. Fuck no. Vader pulls his ass into the fire. He's been holding on to that revenge for years. He burns him. I was like, damn, he's holding that rage. He's been that
Oh my
resentment, that
god,
evil.
yes.
He's that Sith, hatred. He pulls him into the fire. He burns the shit out of him. Before he can become like Anakin, Obi-Wan, of course, is bailed out. By Tala, she tries to shoot at Vader, takes out some Stormies, and she sends, I think, the loader bot to go get him, right? Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously she can't go in the fire, but yeah, the strong loader bot. And of course, Vader can't mess up his machinery. He can't go directly through the fire, but I think he was pretty satisfied with that, how he treated Obi-Wan right there. But
Oh yeah.
they essentially get away, Tala and Obi-Wan. and we see like Leia trying to get away, and at the end they show like Leia runs into Reva with this like half person knocked out. She's like, "Okay, I'll take you to safety," right? And of course she's tricking Leia because she's taking advantage of her because she's a kid. But yeah, it ends with that, cliffhanger upon cliffhanger. And we know, I mean, we know that two of these characters are going to definitely return later, but still it's like, wow, they're just filling in the dots and the blanks. And for me, it was, I was thinking about that line from 4. He's like, when, last time we faced each other, you were the master, and or I was the learner and now I'm the master, whatever. But it's just like, oh yeah, he's been working on stuff. He's not, and he is still, Anakin, but that rage, that hatred, that
Yeah.
Sith mentality, he brought it, and Obi-Wan was not ready.
No.
Wasn't centered with himself at all.
No.
And you could just tell. And this definitely was a like this encapsulates like Star Wars like villain, I think. Like how far they'll go to get what they want, and what they do whatever it takes to get there too. It was done really well. And this episode, yeah, just key moments, clear callbacks to, and it's just really good. That it's like this episode was just one of those episodes like, wow, I cannot see how they follow up with next, and what happens next. So
Like just to encapsulate like where Vader is right now, probably I want to say it's in the running for probably adding to the list of like iconic Star Wars lines is when, they're doing the chase through like the like little back area, like Vader's chasing Obi-Wan and they kind of stop and Obi-Wan's just like, what? It's like, what has become of you? And then Vader just like without missing a beat, he's just like, I am what you made me.
oh yeah, that was
And
so
in that perfect like James Earl Jones Darth Vader. Now, James Earl Jones was credited for this show, but I think it's under the assumption that they used that AI technology that they used for
did.
Luke. So cuz he sounds directly like episode 4 like young James Earl Jones Darth Vader. And it sounded perfect. Don't get me wrong, and it just added to the show. It really added to the show being able to have Hayden in the suit and then having James Earl Jones's voice come out is like the perfect combination.
Mhm. Even Ewan McGregor was saying, watching an interview, like when he was little, and he loved Star Wars, being a little kid, but Vader was scary at the time. They didn't know much about Vader like we do, but he was still like the big bad. You don't fuck with him. And then apparently on set, when that first time Vader shows up behind him, it actually scared him. Like it put him in that place of being a scared little kid, which I thought was pretty funny to hear. I'm glad he shared that
It
with
never
us.
really leaves you.
Right. And damn, did it leave an impression in that episode,
Oh yeah. It's
Um,
Vader was out to prove a point and he did it tenfold.
sure did.
Like he has grown exponentially.
I think they definitely tapped into like the little Rogue One sequence of anger and killing, just a little, right? I'll share with you guys when I first saw Rogue One. When Vader first appeared and he ignited his lightsaber, some guy in the audience just yelled, "Yes!" hella loud. I was like, "Damn, this guy!" And you were not disappointed. It was like, "Holy shit!" For that scene was like, "Oh god, that the stakes were already high," and it's like, you know what? Let's bump it up to 11. Of course, that's the end of that episode.
Oh, Marcelo is just in time. Marcelo, would you like to share your favorite part of episode 3?
Obviously, it's Darth Vader dragging Obi-Wan through a pit of fire. Just be like nice and slow, just drag him right through it.
Roasted him.
Oh, it was
So good.
it was so brutal. It just like proving the point. Well, like Vader is the top dog. Vader is the overwhelming force. It's
Yeah,
like,
that was the best part. Sorry, I almost had I have a pop-up tent outside and it's up open and it's a little windy here, so I didn't want it to end up in a neighbor's yard. So I had to go break that thing down.
Little
yeah, that'd be a weird conversation.
It would just be a weird, getting ready everything for 4th of July and stuff.
got a new tent, honey. All right. So episode 4, Kenobi and Tala arrive at this like essentially like pre-rebels facility or the path on this planet named Jabim, and Kenobi kind of gets familiar with the area, meets some people, and it shows us also Leia being interrogated by Reva. Like she's Reva saying Kenobi is dead, such and such, and she's just trying to extract information out of Leia. But Leia's smart too. She tries to play the game with her as well. And then Reva essentially will resort to torture later because she can't get anything out of her. But before that, Kenobi is just like, we need to go save her. Where can we go? What can we do? And, he talks to these people, and we have these other rebels they're introducing. They said, we'll go help. We have context in there. It's really hard. It's an Imperial fortress, right? It's not going to be easy. We'll do their best to help. And have a little another connection to another universe. The son of Ice Cube. I forgot his name. Oh my god. He plays Roken. He's in Godzilla, by the way, King of the Monsters. It was cool to see him again. But yeah, living that nerd dream, being in the Godzilla universe and Star Wars.
He was in Godzilla.
What?
I forgot.
His name is O'Shea, by the way.
O'Shea.
O'Shea.
O'Shea
he plays this guy
Jackson.
named Roken. Basically, like seemingly like reluctant but very helpful leader, and of course he's going to lend a hand to Kenobi. And him and Tala kind of talking about like, do we do it? But of course, they're saving the future of the rebels right there, and all their the involvement that it's gonna leave an imprint on Leia. All these people that are gonna influence her later.
This is the episode where he breaks into the fortress, right?
The Inquisitorum, I think it's called.
I know, what a name.
Star Wars with their cool names.
But
yeah, we see Tala using like her uniform to go in through the front, using her like Imperial authority. But we have Kenobi, little throwback to episode 1, his little breather swimming underwater. There's dark ass water, goes under, infiltrates that way secretly, dumps a stormtrooper in the water. Nice little callback there.
No Gungans in sight.
Not that we know of, right?
Okay, but you're telling me that Reva choking out that other guy, nobody's gonna notice that? Literally, like a whole group of people sitting in front of her, and she's like behind these columns.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Like nobody's gonna.
Oh yeah, that was there's a lot of they kind of look the other way with Star Wars. Disbelief. Yeah, they essentially like they're guiding each other. Tala has like information, trying to get Obi-Wan to the right area, and right as I said before, Reva's about to fully torture Leia. Tala calls her out, says, "I have important information." Reva tries to front her, but she doesn't budge, and eventually Obi-Wan's able to save Leia, get out of there. But before that, Obi-Wan starts tapping into his powers again. Like uses the Force to distract some stormtroopers because they heard like a little communique from his little device. Yeah, it's just cool to see him like he thinks about it and does it. It's like, all right, he's trying to put his pieces back together. There was like okay, so I know some fans were a little upset, but the scene where he saves Leia, where she's strapped, he finally busts out the lightsaber, right, and kicks some ass. He hits a stormtrooper with the armor, but doesn't slice him. It just damages him, and then he falls. I know some fans were upset about that. I was okay with it. I thought it was just cool. Like, all right, Kenobi's finally used his lightsaber. But yeah, he takes out some stormtroopers there. What do you guys think about that? Were you guys like a little miffed or?
I think for Star Wars, a little bit. I mean, he like because he like hits them twice before they're down. And so I thought that was a little, it was a little different. It wasn't bad. The whole scene though, because it's like pitch black, is dope as hell though. He's like in the
Yeah, it
shadows.
was.
Like that's
Yeah.
cool, that's awesome. But the having a double hit, whatever. I can deal with it. Like I'm not gonna make a big deal about it.
No, yeah, it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a cool looking scene. There are ways you could probably explain why it took multiple hits, besides the fact that it just looked cool. It could be that Obi-Wan was still his form wasn't perfect, so he wasn't getting like clean hits into the stormtroopers.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe it was during a time where the armor wasn't like completely shit.
Okay, but let me just ask really quick.
Okay.
What about Tala? She like slapped a stormtrooper and like knocked
Yeah, I
him.
remember
that. She
Now,
slaps the helmet and then takes the gun and blasts.
Now I've been
him.
thinking about that. My explanation to myself was, I mean, she's been in the Empire for X amount of years. I'm sure she's probably found like weak points to hit stormtroopers in to kind of like fuck them up, like slap them on like the side of the head and like it like creates like a fucking like rattles them a little bit, and then you can like stick your hand up into the helmet and just like use that to kind of like drag him around. I like she's not only is she kind of like a pseudo rebel, like she understands like the inner workings of the Empire, so she has that to her advantage. And I feel like it's not too far of a stretch to think that she knows a thing or two of how to effectively take down a stormtrooper, just like using hand-to-hand combat.
I just thought it was funny, like the whole scene, because they're like
I mean, she does like choke, like you said earlier. She chokes out a guy. Nobody fucking bats an eye.
Oh, that's
They're like,
true.
oh, we got to do some work for Vader. That's probably what they were thinking. Nope, we don't see shit. Vader needs this data.
It's like we know what choking means. Let's get back to work.
And after that, he's running with Leia, and I thought this actually might have been a connection to Fallen Order. You know how they're underwater in that long tunnel, and there's water. Basically, water's breaking. He pulls he lets it go through, and he like drowns all those stormtroopers. But yeah, that definitely reminded me of Fallen Order with that. Spoiler alert, the last mission, you're going under that base. I felt there was a connection. Even that stormtrooper, there's like a armor clad stormtrooper in all black with the little
the Purge Trooper,
yeah, Purge Trooper, thank you.
Funny enough, it's very much a reference to Fallen Order because it happens in the same location.
I was wondering if we would see Cal, but maybe in another show. That's okay.
Jedi Survivor, maybe same time period. Who knows?
Either way, fast forward, they're about to leave the base. They do some like Disney level camp shit where he's hiding Leia in his Imperial trench coat. They almost make it out, of course. And then Reva stops them. It's like, hey, you're not getting out of here alive, And she says, traitor, spy, and tells like, I never was this, I just never felt right. And of course, just as you think they're captured again. The rebels come by with their snow speeders. I guess not really snow, they're speeders, and blow up some stormtroopers. And they, two arrive. They get Kenobi and Leia away. The other one's like, I'm gonna make it okay, and we know that guy's fucking dead. Like, Reva throws the explosives at that speeder. He doesn't come back.
Okay,
I'm sure there's gonna be a spin-off about that guy surviving.
But let's talk about the bad CGI in that scene where she's just like, wait, is it me? Is it just me? Like,
I was paying too much attention to the T-16s to the fact that there was just T-16s coming to save the day. It was like, oh man, let's go.
Dude, we watched this actually, Marcelo, when I visited you. You said, man, that blocking was bad. I just remember here.
Oh, we did talk about this, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I just laughed. But yeah, it was a fun episode. Capture Star Wars. Of course, the end. Sorry, forgot about that. Vader's like, you let them get away. Or he's like, you failed me. And she's like, no, I let them get away. I have them at the end of the string. Because we, of course, Shows at the end the little droid Leia had, right? She put like a little tracker in the droid, so of course they could trace Leia and Kenobi back to the base. So yeah, just a fun. It was a fun. I feel like it was very much like a Formula Star Wars episode. You know, hijinks, action. They get away okay, but there's of course more for later, right? It's not. They're not truly safe, but they think they are. Still reeling from that previous episode, though. Man, 3. Ooh. Oh man. And of course, next episode 5. Oh man, like I mean 3 satisfied me, but 5 like me brought Vader to a new place that I really loved. So we'll get there.
The last 2 episodes of this show are definitely they were worth the wait.
Sure. So one of the cool parts of this episode was people have been asking, are we going to see Anakin and Obi-Wan in the flesh together, not just Vader and Obi-Wan? We see Anakin, and we see them, training together at the Jedi Temple. Very much a wave of nostalgia for me with Anakin with his little rat tail in his episode 2 outfit and stuff. And talk, I'll go back and forth through the episodes of Obi-Wan reminiscing of that training at that moment, thinking about how Anakin fights and his methodology. But it was really cool to see them just in their old costumes again and go at it. That was a nice moment.
Free hand chopped off too.
Oh yeah, huh? Shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just a delight to see, and it was used so well for the story they wanted to tell for episode 5. We'll get into it, but can you believe that some people were calling this a filler episode?
What?
Some people were literally calling this a filler episode. One, a 6-episode series does not have a filler episode, and 2, this had some of the biggest fucking story developments in the entire series.
Literally, we found out about like everybody's motivation in this episode.
Yeah, I think some people just forget what the word filler means. But it's like some people be wilding in some fans be wilding in the series, and it's like everybody needs to calm down.
It's not my Legends chapter 5, book 7. I'm so mad.
It wasn't like the comics.
I mean, you can like your Legends is fine, and some of it gets implemented eventually, but it's just like it's just funny. You're never going to appease everybody, but it's just so funny that the development that people were complaining about in episodes like 1 and 2, they finally get it, and then a fraction of those people were like, "This is a filler episode," and it's like, what? Excuse me?
You're telling me that Darth Vader dual wielding 2 lightsabers and beating the fuck out of somebody is all right? Let's backtrack a little bit, but
we'll get to that.
Whoever said that, I don't know. Even for me, who I'm generally really picky about everything, like this was not a filler episode. Like this is them trying to escape. This is like the last ditch effort trying to get out of there and trying to get out. And like we have a sacrifice, like somebody sacrifices themselves, and like there's just so much that happens in this episode. I can't believe people would think it's a filler episode.
I mean, I don't know. Internet's weird.
Say that again.
Can't win.
Nope.
Oh, you glossed over those points. Let's just go over those points really quick. Empire arrives at the base. They were tracked. They lock them in. Kenobi tries to negotiate with Reva, who we find out it's like, oh, you actually don't need me. You need Big Daddy Vader. As we find out, a lot of people put the pieces together that she was the youngling that was there when Vader was, killing people, and she's been holding on to that revenge, and she's been hoping that Vader forgot her, and she doesn't really care about Kenobi. He's been a pawn in her scheme this whole time. he tries to buy everyone time talking to her. He says, he'll go or whatever. And then there's a big fight. We know Tala doesn't show up later. So me and my wife were wondering, like, okay, when is Tala's number up, right? And she, has a big sacrifice moment. They're fighting off Stormies, her and her loader bot, who takes a lot of hits too. I think he threw a couple stormtroopers too, so that was kind of
Oh,
cool.
he
was K2ing people.
yeah, he was.
Nice throwback to Rogue One. And of course, she has that thermal detonator. I was like, oh fuck, there she goes. Like it's coming, but it's just like it's a lot of like, again, breadcrumbs, like you guys said from previous episodes. It's like we know it's gonna happen, we just don't know how or when. And it all, it pays off here. We see the effect happening here. And again, they drop the motivations, the big reveals. And he's like, maybe you should go after Vader, right? Like, I think Kenobi isn't ready to fully come and fight his old, his brother, essentially, like he said,
Right.
the person he loved. So he's like, you know what, you try, Reva. My place is with the people, being a general. I'm gonna lead them. You do what you got to do. And it's there's a little, they rely on Leia to kind of help and out. But okay, let's go to the part I know we loved. I'm just gonna fast forward. I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff. Let's get to the so of course, Big Daddy lands.
I know you want to get there.
And I'm my hooks are in it. Big Daddy lands, area's cleared, there's some rubble. I think we even see the piece of the loader bot in there. It's dead Stormies, and he arrives at what we think is the ship, right? About to get away. Zoom, It's like, and then of course the fucking powerful, unstoppable Dark Lord of the Sith grabs the ship, holds it in place, and brings it down. And that's already a holy shit moment, right? It's like a good
Force Awakens shit.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, that is,
or not Force
like,
Awakens, Force Unleashed shit.
I know what you meant too. I totally believe it. But it's just like, wow, they're really showing how strong Vader is. I love it. And then they take it a step further. He viscerally rips part of the ship open to look inside. We're like, oh shit, that crew is fucked, right? But of course, it's a decoy, right? The actual ship leaves. They get away safely. But of course, that it's like boom, boom, that drops right there. Like, wow. Of course, Eva comes to face the person she's been holding with resentment all her life. She comes to face Vader, and she has her
Did
Inquisitor
you not think
lightsabers.
I saw you youngling?
Yeah, he knew all along because he's a petty bitch. He didn't forget shit. And it's a great fight. What are you gonna say, Brian?
No, I was gonna say this is probably the coolest Vader fight they've ever done, because he doesn't pull out his lightsaber and block her hit. He literally just lifts up a hand. He's like, nah, and just catches the saber with just the force. And it was so badass. It's like, I'm not gonna fight you with my lightsaber. Fuck you. It's like,
Well,
oh my god.
He then, she's trying everything she can to get to him. Breaks her lightsaber or separates her lightsaber and then throws her one. Like, come on now, like we're doing this.
Like, you want to do this? Let's go. And a really cool scene is he like blocks her hit. Like, it's just so cool to see. He's not phased at all. He's like, I'm far beyond what you can comprehend. And just again, like, throws her lightsaber. They try to, he's playing with her. He clearly is going to win.
Oh yeah.
And he stabs the shit out of her, leaves her for dead. The Grand Inquisitor comes back alive, and the cheekiest fucking line to throw back to episode 3. Though revenge does a lot for the will to live, or some iteration of that. Is like, oh my god.
That's my third favorite line in this show.
Like that.
Revenge does wonders for the will to live.
Just taking a shitty line from 3, which I love 3. But that line is gross. But anyway, still a great movie. And they fucking take it and give it to the Inquisitor, and make it a petty remark, and then Vader and the Inquisitor just march off. And of course, is Reva dead? Of course not. Kenobi dropped the little message that shares where Luke is. And Reva, of course, holds onto her revenge and will to live. Is going to go and find Luke. So.
But like you
And then
said before,
episode 6,
Marcelo,
huh? Uh-huh.
like before you said, just seeing Vader hold 2 lightsabers was the fucking coolest thing I've
That was
ever
some
seen.
sick shit.
Just like all like, come at me. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
He could have killed her so fast.
Oh, the petty bitch wants to play with his prey. Oh, that was I heard this before. I don't know if you guys agree, but each episode is kind of like each of the first 6 movies. Like episode 1 is similar to, or part 1 is similar to episode 1. Part 2 is similar to episode 2, and I kind of see those parallels along the way, and the end effects. So I just thought that was interesting. That's kind of what they had in mind. Oh, I believe I heard. So like part 5 is like a structurally kind of similar, of course, to episode 5 and pulling stuff from that.
I heard that too.
It's like clear parallels. Of course, stakes are high, they get away, they're successful, celebrations and all that. It's just so well done, and you could tell like a lot of it is just well thought out, and it has to be now, right? There's just Star Wars, it has the standard, it fluctuates, of course, but it's just like it's good, it's fucking great, it's oh man, can't get enough. And of course that brings us to the finale. We're a lot of setup, a lot of stuff we've seen happen in between.
So here's what's weird. Here's what's weird about these kind of chase scenes like we're getting in part 6. Like giant ship chasing little ship and just bloop, 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 just like chipping away at it, and it's like
swerving a little bit.
Oh,
swerving.
Are you kidding me? That's so crazy.
You didn't upgrade the targeting computer. In about 5 years, it'll be there.
So stupid.
There's those Imperial budget cuts, it just they couldn't afford good targeting. But yeah, we have that chase sequence, and of course Obi-Wan's like, in order for you guys to be safe, he's gonna come after me. Like, I need to buy you guys time. Like, no, don't go, Obi-Wan. We need you. We love you. But he's like, I gotta go. He did this in episode 1, but here he tries to convene with his old master. And at the time, we're like, we gonna hear something? But we don't. Doesn't get a response, and he takes it upon himself to take that little escape ship and leave to draw Vader away. Of course, the Grand Inquisitor's like, yo, kill them right now. You'll squash the rebellion. But Mr. I gotta have my revenge because he chopped my arms and leg off, reasonably so. He's like, I'm gonna go after Obi-Wan. I don't care what you say. And that's what happens. You see later that like Reva's getting closer and closer to the homestead where Beru and Owen are. So they're gonna prepare to fight off Reva. And it's just interesting, like they tell Luke it's like a Tusken Raider attack. That it's a complete lie, and Luke's gonna figure that out later. But it's just interesting, like they hid their one blaster or whatever super like behind a plan the hole. They grab it and they send Luke in a room, and they bunker down. They get ready.
They just have 2 cycler rifles, just like hiding,
ready to go.
Dude.
I mean, do you realistically think they won that? I mean, I know that they won that fight, kind of, but like, there's no way.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's one of those like Kylo Ren things where you have to take into effect that she was just literally stabbed in the gut.
Right.
Like
okay, yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
But goddamn, MVP should go to fucking Aunt Beru for just like being like, yeah, we're gonna fight this bitch. It's like, I don't care. She's coming for Luke. I'm fucking taking her down. We're gonna fight.
And Owen's like,
okay, dear.
Okay, I got no sass now, but yeah.
Did she literally fight? No, did she literally fucking dex Reva as she's walking through the door? Like, nah, bitch.
Yeah,
like,
now she kicks her ass.
Yeah, and she fucking like throws like Owen like off a bridge and onto the fucking crates and shit. as that's happening, of course, our Lord Vader chases Kenobi to some planet. I don't even know. I call it Malachor 5. I don't know. But so what we've been waiting for, right? The standoff, the big fight. Obi-Wan, he says, "I will face you." He does this iconic pose from 3, draws his lightsaber, and they have a really good like choreographed fight. And of course, it's dark,
But
so the colors pop more on the lightsabers.
but just
It's really well done.
Oh, so that was such a good lighting and everything.
now, we talked earlier, Marcelo, because you saw this episode first on your phone. When did you get a chance to like watch it on your TV?
No, I haven't yet. No.
Okay.
So the issue that I had with this episode, even though it was amazing, was that it was just really, really dark. And it's funny because I went online and like other people had, the same kind of issues with it that I did. So that, I mean, at least I wasn't alone. But you
Mhm.
guys didn't, right?
No, I mean, for me, it was fine.
I do think it was a little dark, but I think they wanted those lightsabers to really pop. I mean, it wasn't like Game of Thrones season 7 or 6 dark, It wasn't
Fuck,
like
that was dark
you can't
too.
fucking see Jon Snow's face from 15 feet away. But I think at least the TV I saw it on, it was decent. It was still a little dark, but they really wanted to show the contrast. When Vader's talking, the red glow is really showing his face, or when Obi-Wan's talking, the blue glow. It's really, I think they were really going for that effect, and it really showed.
I love, like I've been saying this all night. I love them calling back to old lines because when they have the beginning of the fight, you know, uh, Vader's like, "Are you really gonna strike me down?" And then Obi-Wan gets into his Clone Wars pose, and he's like, "It's like, say from like Revenge of the Sith, like it's like, I will do what I must." And then on the opposite, this isn't Anakin talking. This is Vader now, and so Vader's like, "Then you will die." And it's just like, oh, it's such like a good callback, but like elevating it to where they are now is just like the opposites of like, yeah, he was Vader, but he was still very much Anakin, but now he is Vader, and like his mindset is like, I'm going to take you out. It's like, oh,
Definitely.
it's just
He has to fight smarter too because he's not as limber and agile. He's like using terrain. He like trips Obi-Wan. That shit made me laugh. He uses the rock to knock him over. He's throwing stuff at him, and he's really trying to use strength to defeat Obi-Wan. And of course, we get to a point where it seems like he's gonna win, and he's crushing him and he's kicking his ass under all this rubble, and he has that he finally connects with the Force again, Obi-Wan, and he this taboo of the Jedi, they can't have attachment, but he knows that because his attachment to Leia, he needs to be you know forego his kind of his old Jedi teachings and save Leia, right? She's important. He can't just let Leia go. So he goes like Super Saiyan Jedi mode and rises and kicks the shit out of Vader in another good sequence of fights. And we see again another callback to Rebels. He damages Vader's mask and it reveals under it. It really is Anakin, right? He's still like unsure, but it really shows he's fighting, his brother. And then they have some exchange some good lines, but it affirms for Obi-Wan that Anakin is truly dead, and again connects again to 4, like Vader is the master of evil. There is no more Anakin, there's no redemption, and that's how he's able to leave him kind of almost the same way of like 3, right? He's like leaving him all dilapidated shit and broken down, but he walks away knowing like with his back turned, like
But-
it's
Mm-hmm.
turning my back on
But-
you. Good.
when Star Wars is on their A game, they do some of the best like symbology I think of almost any media, because you have Vader there, his mask is broken, he has a little bit of his face showing, and then when they're having dialogue between each other, and like Obi-Wan starts to like kind of break down a little bit, and he starts apologizing. It's like, I'm sorry I did this to you, and then Vader's like, no, you didn't. It's like, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. And then, like, you kind of see, just using the lightsaber light, you see his face kind of flicker from like red to blue. and it's supposed to be the symbology of like the blue is Anakin peeking out of
Yep.
Vader, and it's like you didn't. It's like he's like reassuring to Obi-Wan. It's like you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, and it's like I did, and it just goes back to red, and like Vader's back, and you kind of see a little fucking grin that peek out of that broken mask. Like, oh man, it's so good. You know,
Yeah, it was so good.
Deborah Chow did such a fucking good job
Oh
doing
yeah,
that scene.
excellent.
Holy
And
shit!
I just want to say it was a really cool effect to hear Hayden Christensen's voice and
Yeah,
the synthetic voice of James Earl Jones together,
yeah,
which we haven't had before. That was a really cool effect to really drive it home. Like Vader, they are one and the same, but not anymore. It's truly Darth Vader. And fast forward, Obi-Wan, almost Snoke level detects Luke's in trouble and goes to save Luke on Tatooine. Reva's, chasing Luke after kicking the shit out of two homestead farmers, or essentially getting her ass kicked. And she has that moment. It's like, am I going to be Vader? And am I going to kill a youngling? And she comes to grips with it. She, of course, doesn't kill Luke Skywalker because that would upset a lot of fans and make a
Mhm.
lot of people ask a lot of questions. So she comes back, lets Luke down, and she says, I couldn't do it. She talks with Obi-Wan, and he offers counsel. He's like, like it's a real heavy moment, and it's so good. It's like both of them drawing on like everything they've been through together to help each other heal right there and move on. It was just really well done. And again, call back to another Star Wars, leaving that lightsaber in the desert, making a Skywalker mad, like sand. Yeah. Again, open-ended, leaving Eva to appear maybe somewhere later. We don't know. Or is that her fate? Did she die of a wound right there? I don't know.
So I wanted to ask you guys this question because I've been seeing like conversation about this online a little bit. In your opinion, like after this part of the show of the series, do you think that scene was to point out that Reva was redeemed, or this? And this is what I think, or is she on the path of you know freedom and like being able to choose what her destiny is? Because I personally think she's not like, because some people are saying like, oh, it's like, oh no, it's like just because she like didn't kill Luke, now she had her redemption. And it's like not necessarily. I don't think. But like I want to know what you guys think about your interpretation of that scene.
Um, it's a little tricky. There is a little bit of a redemption, sure, but it's like everything that you did to get to that point. There's a lot of unforgivable shit in that range.
Yeah,
Like Vader at the end of 6. I'm good now, guys.
I have a force ghost and everything.
Yeah. It's complicated though, right? I mean,
Hmm.
I feel like it can be both. She can have some redemption, but she's got to do some shit to make up for it, right? But she is free. But is she though? Like she just betrayed Darth Vader, and she didn't turn in Obi-Wan. So if anything, for sure, she's on like the Imperial shit list. I mean, how is she gonna redeem herself? I don't know. Fucking help moisture farm these poor farmers. I don't know. It's complicated. Like I would like to see her do more to redeem herself. Be like, yeah, she did the bare minimum. She didn't kill Luke. Good job. But at the same time, like she found her way to not do that at the same time. So
Hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
she gets to start her journey.
Yes, maybe we'll see her in Survivor.
Maybe that'd be interesting.
And we reach the end, part one of the end. Leia is kind of choosing her gear. She wants to dress up how she wants to dress up. She's ready to, embrace the Alderaan Galactic Senator lifestyle, but not before she says goodbye to the person who's been, taking care of her and saving her. Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's a nice little connection. It explains why she named her kid Bed Kenobi too. It's a nice little heartfelt moment of the Star Wars. It's like, oh, cool. They had their little journey. They're happy. They're gonna move on to other things. And of course, Obi-Wan goes back to that shit planet. He's gonna watch over Luke, and he packs up though. He gets that animal he's gonna be riding in Rebels for a certain scene, which I'm not gonna dive into. He has his old Jedi robe on, and he has some words he exchanges with Owen, and I think Owen feels a little bad. Like, you want to meet him? That was cool. That was a nice way of saying,
Yeah.
we can do this, do it now. Let us live in peace if possible, and he does. He's like, he says the line, right? We've all been, I mean, I was waiting for him to say the line. He says, hello there. He gives him the toy he's going to have him for, and just walks away and
Lives the hermit life.
until he doesn't, right? We find that out soon.
Ben.
Yeah. All in all, very strong. I'm partial to Mando because I think, it's excellent stuff. Not that this isn't. And Deborah Chow, damn, she, when they announced she was doing Kenobi, it's like, that's cool. I don't really know what she's done, but when we find out the episode she directed of Mando, I was like, oh shit, this is good. It's going to be great. And she delivered.
No. Hold on there. You're not going to miss the one scene that brought me to like sweaty eyes.
That's right. All right. Sorry, Brian.
We are not brushing over.
I totally forgot
the return of fucking Qui-Gon Jinn.
Jedi. My bad. Yeah. So.
Oh my God, Joel! Really?
I know.
The most important one.
Not even a Star Wars fan, right? Here's my Star Trek tattoo. Anyway, so yes, Obi-Wan walks away in the valley, and we see, he's walking. There's a projection. I was like, oh fuck yeah, they did it. They fucking did it. They got Liam Neeson's to appear, and he's like, Master, I've been trying to reach you. He's like, you just weren't ready yet, and
that's so good.
It's a nice little, go back to this, this guy who set Obi-Wan on this journey and Anakin on this journey. Mm-hmm. He's going to show him more Jedi mastery and stuff. And the other Brian I watched it with, he was saying, well, technically some fans are going to be mad because he's, another Jedi shouldn't have done this first, not Obi-Wan, whatever. But whatever, cool. I'm just glad we got to see Qui-Gon Jinn one more time. That was chef's
I mean, I like to argue that Qui-Gon is the one that figured out the way to master the cosmic force. Because if it wasn't for him, Yoda wouldn't have found that out, and Yoda wouldn't have taught Obi-Wan how to do that. So, just saying, Qui-Gon is legit.
There's some angry fan about Obi-Wan later. Anyway, of course, I should say, we got that, but we also got Ian McDiarmid talking to who really
that was
quickly.
A cool surprise.
The Emperor saying, "Focus. We don't need Kenobi." That was cool. I was wondering if we were going to see the Emperor at all, but we did. In seconds of him, but got both ends of the spectrum as far as masters go, which was really cool.
And Ian McDiarmid fucking denied anything about Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was hiding the fact that he was in that. It was so nice. It's like, yeah, like some people was like, oh, he didn't, doesn't look, like how Palpatine used to look. It's like, whatever, he's there.
The 5 Palpatine stands are furious that he doesn't look more fucked up. Oh my goodness. Anyways, like I was saying, really fucking good. Thank you, cast and crew behind the show. Again, I think an amazing love letter to the prequels and tying it to the originals. I really enjoyed the ride. Really liked it. I mean, if you like Star Wars, you're probably gonna like this. I mean, there's of course things to nitpick. I mean, the older I get, the more I see it as like it's for kids, kind of. Even though this one was pretty damn dark, but there's definitely, I feel like that's what it's for. Closing thoughts on Kenobes.
Or so.
No, just, I mean, in general, the show was pretty solid. Definitely the last 2 episodes definitely carried the whole series for me. But like I think with this show, I can overlook all the campiness and still be like totally satisfied with everything. Like, I'm good. I was really happy with it.
Yeah,
Jealous because you're talking to your ex energy.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, it was such a good character study of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
It took you for a ride through, because like ever since we had like the original trilogy of prequels, we always like thought about what was happening to Obi-Wan during this time period. He's just kind of like, was he just being a bum on Tatooine for 10 to 15 years? And it's
Hmm.
like, you know how was he able to process through going over Order 66 and the loss of Anakin, and dealing with all that trauma? And it's like, I'm willing to overlook the very minor kind of like hitches and like little nitpicks in this show for the
Hmm.
overall package. For me, was just good. I can't, I wouldn't change it.
Agree. Agree more. All right. So, what's next in the pipeline after this?
Well, of course, when this podcast comes out next Friday will be Thor: Love and Thunder.
Hell yeah.
So be excited for that, because that's gonna be a hot one. It's a highly looked forward to movie. We will be doing Miss Marvel when that show series ends. I believe we're going on to episode 4 out of
So
7
yeah.
this coming week. So hold on a little bit longer. We'll be having Miss Marvel soon as well. And then I believe in about another month or so, we're going to be getting Andor and Bad Batch.
Hell yeah.
So we're gonna start getting busy. We're gonna start be pumping out reviews in a little while.
It's that summer rush.
Yep.
Mm.
It's summer blockbuster time.
Oh yeah. And of course
And
we'll have regular episodes sprinkled out.
yep. Yeah, talk about that game devs conference. Those announcements.
Oh
What it's
yeah,
called?
the
Talk about they called the wrong thing.
Summer Game Fest.
That's what it is.
Oh yeah, we'll be talking about that for sure. There's a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well,
Sweet. Well,
Jedi and Droids and Beyond was
first Twitch stream in the
We did it.
books.
First Twitch stream, yeah.
Yeah. Um I guess should we do some little housekeeping before we go?
Sure.
Oh hell yeah.
All right. Well, as we said, if you're listening to us on podcast services or on YouTube, we are now on Twitch. So if you want to come watch these episodes live, you can go to twitch.tv/UnitedWeNerd. If you want to come see the episodes live, and we'll talk with the chat and a little post show maybe. But of course, if you can't make it to the live show, we do have the podcast on audio form and on YouTube as well. And of course, Joel, if they want to maybe ask us some questions or tell us why, Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't the show that we thought it was, where could they tell us that?
Well, I mean, Marcelo tells me that already. But anyway, if you want to send us an email about why we're wrong, why we're right, about giant robots, Jedi, Guardians, whatever, unitedwenerdcast@gmail.com. Where? unitedwenerdcast@gmail.com. Also, if you want to reach us on Twitter, comment on our posts, reach or DM us or whatever, slide into our DMs about something nerdy. United_we_nerd at United_we_nerd on Twitter. Find us there. Hit us with your nerdy questions, comments, critiques. Tell us why The Mandalorian is the best show or not. I'm just gonna say it is, but
And of course, Joel, is there somewhere else maybe they could do that as well?
oh, on YouTube as well. You can comment on our YouTube page. Comment below. Let us know. Send us a message. Comment. It's up there. And now, Twitch. Hell yeah. Ate another channel for this to happen.
Yes.
Consumed it.
And of
Another Facebook
course,
page, too.
that's right. We do have a Facebook page. And of course, anybody, YouTube, we have a deeper connection now. You can see us and we can feel you watching, maybe, hopefully. So if you enjoyed the episode, please do us a big favor. That red subscriber button needs to be gray. The YouTube overlords really like it when it's gray. Also, if the thumbs up button gets clicked, and of course, that little bell icon, to make sure you make sure you don't miss an episode, because it's going to be a fun time, and we want to make sure that we all get to huddle around and talk about nerdy shit, because that's what we like to do. We like to talk about nerd stuff, and we want to talk with you about it. So help us out, and just
If you don't like that bell, we won't feed Joel.
yeah, we can't give him his chicken nuggies.
I'll fucking die. Smash that subscribe button. Please. So I can eat my nuggies.
And one more announcement. If you haven't seen already, we do have some merch that we have made.
Hell yeah.
If you're watching live on Twitch, there is a link down below to the Stream Element store. But of course, for anyone else listening, you can go to store.streamelements.com/ for now it's Brian Saber, but we are going to be transferring to a United We Nerd exclusive store, which we will tell you in the future when that gets all set up. But for now, go to that URL and help out the podcast and get some sweet swag. Got some shirts, some hats, some mugs, some stickers. We got some cool stuff. Go check it out. Help out the podcast.
I thought I had my shirt on me. Oh, I do.
Oh,
What? Joel has a shirt?
oh, here we go.
Actually,
Exclusive.
not that it didn't, but it looks better in person. The symbol,
Exclusive for the video podcast. Look at that
Get your
shirt.
merch.
That could be yours.
Got one for you too, Marcelo. Thanks to Brian.
I gotta buy a hat. And I gotta find my sticker.
Hell yeah. So please go check it out. Help out the podcast. Get some cool merch. And these shirts are quality. So you'll be doing yourself a favor. But yeah. That's all the housekeeping I got in my brain.
Brian, where can they find you if they don't give a fuck about our channel? Just kidding. I hope you give a fuck. But where can they find you, Brian?
Well, of course, you could find me also on Twitch at twitch.tv/Brian Saber, where we just, chill out, play some games, do some wrestle bets on Wednesdays. And of course, if you want to chat, I'm on Twitter and on Instagram at Brian_Saber. As well. I do technically have a YouTube, but I've been focusing more on the podcast, so it's kind of stuff's coming to YouTube. So just be on the lookout for Brian Saber on YouTube as well. Marcelo, where can the lovely nerds find you?
Yes, you.
You can find me on Twitter at M90Plays. That's M90Plays. And yeah, that's about the spot. That's what I got.
Sweet. Joel,
What's up?
how about you? Where can they find you on the
Where can
internet?
they find me on the internet? Acoustic Avenger on Twitch. The I is the number 1. Also, Bad Mech Monster Mine on Spotify, SoundCloud, and TikTok. Find me there. Also, Twitch occasionally. I've been trying to get back to it, but mainly here now.
All right, awesome.
Good night, everybody.
Revenge does many things for the will to live.
My God, I still fucking can't believe they called back to that shit. Oh my goodness, I can't.